Hello, lovely people. I am on my daily walk, or one of them anyway, and I thought I would hop on here as I promised on my 21-day live challenge. And today is a day that I've been asked by a few people actually to, out of interest, sort of what the best foods are for not only menopause health but hormonal health, right? Because we have different stages in life where hormones are obviously a thing that can affect how we feel, our physical health, physical energy, and all those sorts of things. So I am coming to you live from this lovely place, and it is a really, really hot day. So I'm going to find myself a place to actually sit so that my connection could be a little more steady. Plus it's incredibly warm today. I think we're upwards in the mid-30s in terms of heat and humidity, so I'm shade hopping at the moment with little dashes of sun. But yeah, if you're here with me, then let me know, because it's always nice to have someone here who and if you've got any questions, of course, feel free to put them through. But like I said, I'm going to be talking really briefly about what are some of the best foods for menopause health. And I might just kind of park myself here for a moment under this beautiful ancient pine tree. It's really quite amazing. So I might actually just park myself here, and it's lovely shade. It's got little bits of sun coming through. But yeah, one of the top foods, so if you're not really sure, please put your questions through, or comments, whatever you feel you need. I'm still live as far as I can tell. Yes, okay. So first one is soy foods. So soy foods include things like tofu. So obviously organic tofu, or things like tempeh, and they're made from the soybeans. So soybeans have this amazing chemical called isoflavones, and they mimic phytoestrogens. So while you're going through menopause, if you are then, the estrogen levels fluctuate and go up and down, then it's very useful to be consuming foods that can help try and either replace or mimic. I mean, obviously phytoestrogens don't totally replace our human estrogen levels, but what they do, they mimic them, and they can work with our estrogen receptors in the body. So it's really useful to consume foods, soy foods, in its rawest form as possible as well. So you don't want overly processed soy foods, but things like tempeh, for example, which is fermented soybean. So you also get the probiotic effects which helps the gut biome, okay, stay healthy. And so it's kind of like a double whammy, really, having something like that in your meal plans. So the next one is fatty fish. So fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel is one of the top sources, in fact, if not the top source of omega-3. We tend to get a lot of omega-6 from a lot of different foods, and sometimes it's like too much omega-6, and really you want a nice balance between omega-3 and omega-6. And why is that? Because it's basically what our brain needs for being fully healthy, you know, and to maintain brain function, nervous system function. But it's also very helpful for other parts, like our circulatory system needs it, you know, our skeletal, joints benefit from all of that. So for those of you who are plant-based and you don't eat fish, you don't like fish, then you can get the omega-3 from things like flaxseed, your chia seeds, and your walnuts. Okay. Next one is the leafy greens. So leafy greens, oh my goodness, is so nutrient dense, and we're talking about things like kale, spinach, collard greens. I mean, I love kale. I could probably have kale for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but that's just me. So kale, something like kale, for example, you will get calcium, and there's 2.5 times more calcium in kale than cow's milk. So I'll let you sink that one in a little bit. So things like collard greens also much higher content of calcium than cow's milk. And then you have the added benefit of the magnesium. So magnesium is something that we need for over 600, more than 600 chemical reactions in the body. And that is not only for our digestive system, but we're talking our circulatory system, our endocrine system, our immune system, okay, our muscular, so and of course there's the respiratory system. So pretty much every reproductive system, every system you can think of that the human body has, magnesium is needed in order to function normally. Okay, so most adults are deficient in this essential mineral anyway, so it is a good way to get your daily source of magnesium. And then of course you've got some amazing phytonutrients in those greens, so like kale and collard greens, and they come from the brassica family, but those are the ones particularly that you want to be going for. But if you like cabbage, for example, really good for all sorts of things, and as well as having fermented cabbage, so something known as raw sauerkraut, you are also feeding the good bacteria, rebuilding the good bacteria in your gut biome. So it's really useful to have all of that kind of in there. And then the next one is flax seeds. So flax seeds have this very special phytochemical called lignans, and again it's also got an estrogen, phytoestrogens, and they are amazing for those fluctuating hormones as well, so they work off the receptors. So I've got a little canine friend coming past saying hello. Hello to you too. Yes, that's why I've sat here in the shade. Hello, cutie. Yeah, that's very good. So lignans, like I was saying, you get that in flaxseed and full of phytoestrogens. Really important when we've got those fluctuating hormones, estrogen being one of them. And so having foods that can help mimic estrogen in the body in terms of allowing for replacing those, yeah, that can help to regulate how we feel with regards to our fluctuating hormones there. And then the last one I'm going to talk to you about, but not least, of course there are others, but I'm going to keep it short. So the legumes are basically your lentils, your chickpeas, your black beans, which offer a good amount of fiber, but also those phytoestrogens that are really necessary and important for menopause health and supporting you through the different symptoms. And some women experience more than others, but things like hot flashes and hot sweats tend to be an issue for quite a few women. And so having foods that have these phytoestrogens can help to mitigate or certainly minimize those symptoms. So I hope you find that that's been useful. I'm going to say goodbye for now. I don't have anyone here with me at the moment, but that's okay. If you're watching on replay, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will answer as soon as I can. I'm going to do the rest of my walk in the sweltering heat at the moment, because we're literally, it is just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it feels like we're in midday sun. It really does. It is that warm. So lots of love to you all. See you tomorrow, hopefully around the same sort of time. So I'm aiming for about kind of like a 7 o'clock, somewhere around there, time to come back out here live. Right, bye for now, take care.